Hey, howdy ho, everybody! This is Postmortem Nightshade, and as I mentioned in previous videos, horror fans are eating good this month. And horror movie 3 that we have lined up for us is Passenger. When I first heard about Passenger, I was super excited because the premise is one that I personally find to be chilling to the core. I think we all have had the experience of driving down a dark and desolate road at night and feeling like something bad could easily be lurking in wait for us just on the road ahead. That could also just be me. But if you do find that premise terrifying, one short I love on YouTube that touches on this idea is called You Are on the Fastest Available Route from the channel Local 58 TV. Check it out if you haven't, I have it linked below. But the premise for Passenger felt very reminiscent of this YouTube classic. Directed by Andre Overdahl, I hope I'm saying that correctly, who I know best from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, this film stars Jacob Scipio and Lou LaBelle as a couple living the van life when they encounter a sinister supernatural force on the road. Now, if that sounds like a pretty standard premise, you wouldn't be wrong. This for me was a pretty average horror film that is definitely more horrifying in concept than it was in execution. It is funny that I know this director for Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark because that is actually a pretty solid PG-13 scary movie. And honestly, I think this film actually might have been stronger with the PG-13 rating over the R rating. This could have also easily been done, as there wasn't that much language, and some modification to the two super gory scenes would have easily gotten the rating brought down. But since they did go for the R rating, it's hard not to compare it to other R rated horror movies, because by those metrics, this was pretty meh overall for me. The element I liked the most about this film was the introduction of the van life concept. I personally haven't seen that idea done in a scary movie, and I think it lends itself well to a lot of horrifying concepts. I also liked some of the horror that took place in the woods. I thought that was fairly well executed. And there was also one really great use of practical effects that was pretty gnarly to watch, but there was really only one good practical scene, and a lot of the other gore was done with pretty apparent CGI. There were a few good moments of creepiness and tension, but the dialogue was pretty standard and cliche, and there was a significant overuse of jump scares in this movie. I also think a lot of horror ideas work better when the entity is left in the dark and they leave some things to the audience's imagination, but they definitely didn't do that in this film. They put the entity on full display several times, and that kind of killed a lot of the scariness factor for me. And as per usual, there were plenty of dumb character decisions that just make me shake my head in disappointment. This movie, though, is only 1 hour and 34 minutes, so it thankfully doesn't overstay its welcome, and I would say it is paced fairly well. But the plot and its execution are pretty standard, although I do love the basic concept for this film. I think this movie would be a great one, to throw on with friends at a party. I think everyone would have a pretty fun time in that scenario. But I would say if you are personally interested in this movie, maybe wait to see it at your local theater's bargain day. So, on my scale, this film hits the very bottom of the hey howdy okay category. But let me know in the comments, what did you think of Passenger? Thank you everyone so much for tuning in, and if you'd like to follow along on my movie review journey, please like and subscribe, and I will see y'all very soon.